Well, good afternoon. I think we'll make a start. My name's Andy Heath. I'm the Communications Officer for Wyre Council. This is my colleague Paul Woodhouse, the IT and System Software Engineer. We've been invited here this afternoon by Jadu to show you a little bit about what we've been doing with our integration. We're currently running on Jadu CMS, and we have Lagan as our CRM system. First thing that people ask is, where's my mouse gone? Where is Wyre? There's actually no town called Wyre. We're nestled at the northwest tip of Lancashire, just above Blackpool, towards the coast from Preston, and a little bit below Lancaster. We cover quite a mixed, diverse of little townships. We've got coastal towns of Fleetwood and Cleveland. We go out to a semi-rural market town of Poulton-le-Fylde, which has our only train station in, out to the very rural market town of Garstang. So we're a small district council. We're part of the Lancashire County Council tier of authorities. We've got about 50,000 residential properties and around 107,000 residents. We've got a real diverse mix of wards, from some of the most deprived in England through to the more affluent rural wards. We've got an ageing population, and the data from our last census actually showed that a third of our residents are over 60, and over half of our population is over 45. So we're really touching the upper scale there. Our website was launched 3 years ago. It is, to my mind, quite actually a clear design, that it probably focuses too much now on its brochure homepage. It was built by the Jadu UX team, and we average about 50,000 visitors a month, unique visits per month from 32,000 visitors. We're currently running on the Jadu version 1.9. We're in the process of upgrading to the latest version, and we're on the Xforms Pro, which is our eForm solution. We've been rated as 3-star by Socitm since the Better Connected review of 2010. We've been featured in the 2013 report. It's actually on page 157, if anybody's interested. Jot it down. We were an example of good practice from our customer account page, so it showed a good level of engagement with our customers. And then we launched our new reported pages just as the 2014 review was happening. And although it doesn't actually work as well on mobile devices as it could, because our site's not responsive, they actually said that they still gave us a good comment, and they said that although we're only one of 5 shire districts to output live CRM cases onto a map. So about 12 months ago, we've actually invested quite heavily in making our CMS talk to our CRM system. Our initial thoughts on the integration were they were probably quite simplistic. We just wanted our CMS, our eForms package, to talk to our CRM. We wanted submitted online forms to go create cases and end up in the right officer's work queue. So it's quite a straightforward process. That was our initial thoughts. When we started expanding on the specification, we quickly realised that we had quite a few questions that needed answering along the way. So we wanted the Jadu registered users account on the front end of our website to be linked to the customer database in Lagan, so that it allows any changes of name or email address. If they make them on the live site, then they're actually reflected in the back-end CRM system. It's actually an area we're looking to build on in the future, so we can add in further details of address, postcode, that kind of thing. The Lagan CRM doesn't actually use the UPRN that the NLPG uses. It uses its own little postal address file system. And our current use of Xforms meant that what was actually happening is that an email was coming into our mailroom at Wyre inbox, and then we have a scheduled sweep program which picks that up, and it appears as a work item in our CRM queue, and then a contact centre officer had to sit there and rekey this item as it landed in the work queue. So it's very similar to a lot of way that councils handle incoming emails. To build on it, we actually wanted the Xform to create a case. We wanted it to land in the CRM system and to be able to classify itself as a work item, classify itself against the right officer work queue, and end up in somebody's in tray. We wanted to be able to CRM forms without actually having any technical knowledge, so that the CRM actions could be done by an administrator inside without having to be an IT specialist. And we wanted to allow forms to be completed anonymously, but still end up in the right work queue. So how did Jadu do this? Magic. Well, it was actually nearly magic. To get a bit technical, what actually happens is on the eForm submission, it creates an XML file. That then gets passed through to our CRM system, to some web services. The CRM system engulfs that XML file and does the magic at the back end. So how do you actually CRM enable an e-form? We wanted it to be as simple as possible. So what I'm going, there's a little video clip now. So when you've logged into our CMS, this is the back end of the Jadu CMS of the e-forms. You navigate through to the X forms, into the control panel, and it gives you a view of the form. So once your form is integrated, there's actually a new tab at the top called CRM CRM Schema. Each branch of the form can have a different action. So you can, if your form is branching and you're taking it down 2 separate routes, you can actually send it off to 2 separate classifications. For each part of the schema, you need to complete a certain set of values. The party ID is the customer that you wish it to be logged against. The classification event code is the work queue where it's going to end up. And then you need to make sure that the case data fields are exactly the same as those within your CRM system. If a customer registers on our site, their Jadu account is actually linked to the Lagan customer reference. So the Lagan customer and the Jadu customer are tied together by a unique reference number. Allowing them to change the details on the customer account page in Jadu actually automatically updates the Lagan record. So this is our homepage. So it's quite a brochure style. So from the homepage, when you click on the sign-in link, it takes you to the page waiting for your email and password. So I can fill those in. Clicking submit, it takes you through to your account page. Clicking through to change the details, you can see there that my first name is actually set to my Sunday name. It's set as Andrew. So if I jump into our CRM system, I can do a search on my email address. It then brings up the record to say that the first name is the same. If I jump back to our website, update my Sunday name to my actual name, click submit, it changes it on the Your Account page. So that's the record within Jadu that's been changed. But jumping back to the CRM and refreshing the page actually shows you that that's been updated as well. So that's a pure live one-to-one integration with our website. Once the integration actually settled in, we had quite a few internal discussions about where the project was going to be going. And we quickly realised that, for example, in flight tipping, we needed to plot the geo-coordinates of where a customer's actually clicked on the map. So, and we needed those to be populated against CRM cases, so we could actually start producing management information reports. We could actually give some added value to this integration we've done. So the objective of that actual additional functionality were for the online reporting to give the customer an easy way of reporting and tagging geo-coordinates within a map. We needed to capture only the relevant information, that the completed form lands in the right officer's work queue, and to try and give our officers as much information and the tools that they needed to do the job correctly. So we'll use fly tipping as an example. When you land on our fly tipping page, you're greeted by the familiar Google map. We actually use a KML file from My Society to outline our ward boundary. You can actually see here that we've got 3 open cases at the time that we did the filming. It was back in May. If you click on one of the open cases, you'll jump to our CRM. We can actually see that that case there was created at exactly the same time. It's been raised by the Jadu Integration user, so this allows us to give some management information so we can see how many reports are being created by the website. And as the customer wasn't logged in, it's associated with our anonymous user. On to reporting a new case. So using the borough boundary outline, it allows us to block any reports if somebody wants to try and make a report that's outside our area. So this is the KML file again. If we zoom in, you can see the shaded areas outside of our borough. If you try and click out there, nothing happens. If you jump within the boundary, it pops up the window to allow you to report. We've also got the Google address search in there. So type in the address. It's weighted to addresses within our borough. So type in an address in there, jump straight to a zoomable level that allows you to report a case, and then you can click on the link to take it through. With the e-forms, you have to pass through a couple of variables. So that's actually showing you it's passing through the lat long, which it's got from the Google map. We'll start filling the form in. This form's actually got a bit of branching, so that if you answer yes to the first question, it takes you to a second page, which asks you for some further information about the incident. It's got an integrated form field in it, So you can see there, I can type the first part of my address, and it goes off, does a lookup against the Lagan address search, and then pulls back a list of addresses relevant to that. We'll quickly go through, fill in the rest of the form in, the pretty standard fly tipping questions that I'm sure everybody's got. Click in next, fill my details in, and submit. So on the submission page, we've actually got a unique reference number, which has been generated by the CRM and by Xforms. So copying that reference number into our CRM system and doing a search. So that's a case that was submitted straight through from that eForm into our CRM. You can see the reference numbers are the same. It's been associated with the fly tipping work queue, that it's been associated with the address that I selected, that it's automatically been allocated to the area officer work queue. So there's been no intervention with this by a contact member of staff. It's landed on their iPad. It's been logged by the Jadu integration, and as I was actually logged into my customer account on the front end, it's actually assigned it against me as a CRM customer. So we've got the lat long listed within there, so that allows us to create management information reports to get the data out of the CRM after. And because we've actually got the lat long there, within our CRM system, we can actually do a couple of added value extras. So we've got 3 links at the bottom. The first one allows the internal user to open that in a browser. So that opens up Google Maps, pinpointed on where the customer's clicked. Our officers have 3G iPad minis, so when they're out and about, they can get the email cases emailed through to them. They can access the CRM system remotely. So we've given them a couple of links as well. Clicking the first one opens it up in the Apple Maps app, but then clicking the second link actually opens it up in the Apple Maps app, but then gives them driving directions from where they are to where the point's been clicked. So the officer can get the email into the iPad, click on a link, and the iPad will actually tell them where to go. So it's it's just nice extras because we've got that information. Let's use it and let's see how we can help our officers. Another area for development was our bin collection calendar. Our old calendar was a classic ASP access database script that was woefully out of date. There were many new properties. We couldn't add data into it easily. We couldn't get the information there. The collection rounds were down to the actual crews who were driving the bins, and any changes or updates had to be done verbally by an officer at the depot. We'd got a change to our waste contract. We went in partnership with Veolia, and there was also the possibility of a Lancashire-wide app for bin information. That kind of meant that we had to get our data in order and we had to do something about it. So each of our bin wagons have touchscreen in-cab data units. They map out the rounds for the drivers, allowing us to make updates, changes to the bin rounds on the fly, really. As they're out and about, we can change the round if they need to make any changes. It also allows us to export out our data to external systems. The crews can instantly report any issues with collections, and they can also feed back to our back-end systems when a street has actually been collected. So if there's an issue with a property, there's a contaminated bin out, the data is passed back to the CRM every 2 minutes using a 3G connection. And it actually there's an integration there with the Bartek. It actually creates a CRM case as it goes round. So if any, as they complete each street, it goes in, it tags a completed street record against that street on CRM system. So it actually gave us a real good deep integration and a real-time integration into our CRM system, which allowed us to actually not only give the contact centre the information they need if the customer rings up, but because we've got the integration with Jadu and the CRM system, we could start surfacing that information out onto a web page. So with Bartek, when it starts logging cases in the CRM system, it creates a street complete for every record that it goes through. So every time they get to the end of a street, the driver in the cab hits a button and it creates a CRM case to say that that street has been completed. It also does contaminated bins. So if an operative finds there's green waste in the cardboard bin, the driver can hit on an individual property and actually create a problem case. If it's too heavy, there's aggressive dogs in there. So these are really any reasons why a bin can't be collected from an individual property. including the lost in the wagon. So when the bin wagon eats the bin, it can't get returned to the customer. So there are several reasons why you can't access the property. So when a customer lands at our When Is My Bin Day page, this is actually, again, a script that sits outside the Jadu CMS. They type in the postcode. It then presents them with a list of addresses relevant to that postcode. We need the customer to actually select their individual address for the magic to work, because we need to know their individual property. The results of the search display to give the customer initially the basic information that they need. So in this case, it tells them that the bins are normally collected on a Wednesday. We also give them the option of downloading a printable PDF. So that's the one that gets issued every Christmas time with the new dates on. We've got another link there, which actually allows them to add it to a desktop PC calendar, so it creates an ICS file of their bin round, so they can add it to an iPhone, it'll add it to the calendar. As we move down the page, we've actually split it out so that each of the individual containers, for green bin, blue bin, green bin, and the grey bin, they're our waste containers. It shows you when they were last collected and when the next attempted collection will be made. So we can see in this example that the grey lidded bin is actually highlighted there, and it's showing that there's an issue with that collection. So if they click on the link there to show there's an issue with the collection, it jumps us down the page, and this is where we can actually hook into the information that's been created by the Bartech and the CRM cases that have been created by Bartech to show the information, the problems with that collection. So in this case, I think it's our contractor reports that the grey refuse bin at this property was not left out, so they couldn't collect it. If there is an online form that we can attach to that problem, so if it's a missed bin, then we can we'll have that next to that, so there'll be an action there for the customer to click on the online form and report a missed bin. Scrolling down a bit further, when I said before, we've got the street complete record. This is the street completed records for each of the streets for the relevant dates, and we've got that limited out to the last 28 days just to speed up the data flow through the page. So if there are any scheduled disruptions to the collections, this is again where we can add in at the bottom, just into a simple data table, any disruptions to a specific round, and that will again show the information to the customer. It'll also actually highlight it in the table at the top to say to the customer that there's a change in their collection. So on a limited budget, we actually commissioned a series of images that would help promote the channel shift work. So they've been produced as posters, bus stop adverts. There are banner pens up on the Jadu stand if you want to go and grab one. I like them, they're my favourite. We've also got education out there for our staff, internal use on the intranet, so that we're just trying to make everybody aware of what's going on. This, together with linking up to the content navigation, our A to Z and the search, has actually given us some quite good outcomes. So these are as of last month, June 2014. Over the past 12 months, we've increased our digital contact overall by 14%. So last month now stands at 22% of all contact. If we include online payments into that mix, we're at 37% digital contact. And we've increased the usage of our e-forms over the past 12 months alone by 55%. So that was our overall customer contact figure. That's taking into account every service that the contact centre deals with. If we've started recently drilling down into specific service areas to actually look at the difference that we're making service by service. So we've got the residence parking permit online form, and since its introduction in March 2014, we're now at 28% e-contact. So that's purely through the e-form. Our revenues changing circumstances stands at 41% digital contact. That includes assisted digital and e-form as well. We've got, including emails, the reporting dog fouling for June stands at 58%. And our newest form is the request a new bin. We actually had a lot of internal reluctance to adding this as an online form, but it was the primary contact through the contact centre, it was the primary inquiry through the contact centre. They didn't want to advertise the fact that you could ask for a new bin. We went live with this, and the first form was actually completed on the 11th of May 2014. Our May contacts were at 21.4% for the online form, and it achieved a reduction in face-to-face of 2.6% and a reduction in phone calls of 11.5%. So adding that up to using the Socitm 2013 cost of customer contact, that one service, that one e-form for that one service has saved £489 in May alone. So that's showing the value to that one service area of that e-form. To summarise the Jadu integration, it delivered really solid foundations for us to build on. The end result was only achievable for us because we're such a small district by using in-house skills. We've got a very small project team. There's actually me and Paul work on it. We don't have a big team. I work part-time. Paul's the CG systems in IT, so he's got responsibility for a lot of other systems. But it meant we could actually sit down and we could code stuff on the fly. There was no project team involved. There was no overarching kind of project management as such. But without the initial capital investment and the work that Jadu have done, we wouldn't have been able to do any of it. Thank you very much for your attention.